Yeah, oh yeah. Missing weight, like, in my 14 years as an athlete, I've never missed my mark on that. It was something I miscalculated. Lucky me, I got my special cousin in town today. If you don't know what that means, every other female does. So it's definitely a first time for me to do that. I'm ashamed of myself. The amount of like backlash I took from it was just mind blowing that people are just that mean and cruel over it. But one of my friends said to me, they go, "Hey Jessica, they pay to make weight. That's why they take a part of your show money, right? So the fighting is the fun part. So, they pay us to make weight, and I missed my mark, and I had to pay her some money, and I'm sorry to her. I'm sorry to all my fans and all the people. It won't happen again. It's not like this is something that is a continuous problem with me. But yes, I had to. When I got dropped off today, my coach was like, Jessica, like, let it go. I couldn't even smile. Like, everybody was at dinner at my house, and we had all these great things. Like, I had Pink Box Donuts sent me stuff, and I felt so ashamed to, like, eat and enjoy myself. It was really embarrassing. So, yeah, it's not something I like to do. I don't like to feel shameful in front of the world.
Was it your second cousin, or what was the reason why you missed weight?
I'm a female. I have a period.
So that was the reason.
Yes, that would be my cousin Flo.
Right, I understand. So that was the reason.
Flo.
All right.
Jessica, have you heard, are you going to be able to stay at 25, or might they pressure you to go back to management?
No, it's not again, it was one of those things that was really miscalculated. We kind of knew. I mean, a lot of females, like, let's dig into the female body here for a minute, right? We have a period every 4 weeks when you're dieting heavy, right? A female's body starts to change, so things start to really get messed up. So sometimes it can push your period off, or it can pull it forward. We knew going into this fight by all of our calculations that I was supposed to get it this week, and sure shit I did. And at one point I stopped, like, my body would not let go of water. It was literally like we were sitting there and I was just getting hot, and instead of me sitting there and spending the entire time, and I pushed it as hard as I could, and I talked to Viviani, we talked to her camp, and we said, look, I will sweat everything I have out. I will do everything I can. I'll be as tired as I can going to that scale if it makes you feel better, but I am really trying, and I don't want you to feel like I'm not, and it's not something I'm proud of. It was extremely embarrassing. So again, I don't want it to happen again. I've never missed a weight in my life. I fought at 25 for years.
Given what happened, and the way that it happened, was it surprising that some of the criticism and backlash you took came from your colleagues?
Who's that?
I'm thinking of
Sajar Eubanks.
Oh, that's a colleague?
Yeah.
yeah,
I think he means like a fellow fighter.
yeah.
Of someone who has done it multiple times? I mean, that to me is just...
Is that
that's
really
just,
the most though from her especially?
Not really, because I could care less. Because unfortunately, she's not a good enough person to get the world to come around her. So she's got to capitalize on someone else's mistake to make them look bad, to make herself look better. What kind of human being are you to do that to somebody else? Why don't you try to be in the support? And you know what? Originally, she was the one who started with me. So, I think there's been some back and forth banter. I just think she's just disrespectful to even the female division in that way. Like, sometimes things happen, right? We have to go, hey, like, did something bad happen? Are you okay? Like, let's make sure, like, Jess has never done that. But if someone kept doing it, at what point do you say, hey, you keep doing this? It's obviously not a mistake. So I could care less about that, and some other people really came through with support, and I look back and I think of girls like Cynthia and, who had problems, and you guys don't know what goes through our camps. We hide everything from you guys until post-fight to tell you, and tell you at the last minute. So, I mean, it's just our nature, right? It's how fighters are. We're going to keep it as hidden as we can until the last minute and then tell you why things didn't really seem as perfect as they should have been.
But you won the fight. I mean, can you even enjoy this? Like, we're talking about this instead of, you getting a win as an underdog yet again.
Yeah, I think I need to just keep staying the underdog, 'cause it's always been something I've really capitalized the most on. We knew Viviani was really, really great. I knew that she had fought. It was so crazy because she fought on my the day after my birthday, just against Alexis Davis, and I said that. So it was after me in the Valentina fight. I go, they're gonna make me fight the winner of that. And I lost a split decision to Alexis Davis at 35. It just made sense, the way the division was growing and people who had fought each other. I just had a feeling that was going to happen. And they originally offered the fight in October. Going into the Valentina fight, I talked talked about it. I had 6 herniations in my lower back. The UFC they knew about it. You know, they did everything they could to help get me through the fight and made me feel as comfortable. It's my job as a fighter to change those things. But in the midst of that time from that fight, I had another episode at the UFC Performance Institute in one of my training sessions that I completely lost all function of my legs. So we got set back. So I originally wanted us to fight this fight in Boston in October, and we said, hey, look, is there any way we can do it in Vegas at home? Give us a couple more months. We're really right on the verge. You know, Bo Sandoval and Heather over at the Performance Institute have literally spent countless of hours and time rebuilding me, and you know, thankfully for that, you know, we're in a much healthier state. So it's exciting to see where things kind of go from here, right? Because I got to showcase, I have really good kicks. My right hand is heavier than ever, and also my ability to, you know, get up off the ground when someone takes me down, as well as my takedown defense. I think it was exciting to show you. I mean, isn't it what you guys want to see? You guys want to see fighting. You don't want to just see quick finishes. You want to see a showcase of 2 talents, right? Like, if a football game was just throwing the ball back and forth, would you really enjoy it? You want to see the hits. You want to see the adversity. So I gave you adversity, and I came out on top.
Having Kuna won earlier in the night, your teammate, did that even register with you in the fight, him getting a victory?
Absolutely. It was awesome. Two Las Vegas natives from Extreme, like, coming in to here, right? That was incredible, right? Like, what a great way to start the card. And, you know, it makes Eric Nixick feel incredible, and Gray and all those guys who work really well with us, Ray and Nate, those guys are great. You know, it's very enjoyable for them.
You showed a tremendous amount of resilience in coming back from your last fight. A lot of people don't do that. How were you able to dust yourself off and get back on the grind?
If there's anything I can do with my ability to have a microphone in this world, is to teach people things, you know, teach them something about themselves as well as teaching myself. But being resilient is not what our society is about anymore. It's about beating people down, or, hey, how can we capitalize on saying the worst possible thing about it? The only way that I could feel that I could really be a change in the world, as well as in myself, is by doing the things I didn't want to do. So even on days that I felt like absolute crap, I was like, hey, make that post. Make that positive post. Show people how strong you are. And there was somebody once said to me, how did you become strong, Jess? And I said, well, I just faked it. And then one day I just realized I was strong because every single day I told myself I'm strong and I'm badass.
The other thing is, when somebody's coming back from a defeat like that, we're seeing people come in there, a bit safe, a little careful. You did not do that. I feel that was the X factor. You fought really tough.
Yeah, we've been really learning how to, like, pop ourselves into 6th gear and really, like, push the pressure and just utilize that. I'm a slow starter. I've never been a great first round fighter. I always kind of, like, feel it out and feel myself out. That's even kind of how I spar. That's why we try to make our warm-ups in the back super rough and hard so I can get that heart rate up. But, you know, it's just, I don't know, I'm still learning pieces of me. It's like I'm constantly shattering old versions of myself and rebuilding new ones so that I can constantly become something different. And, you know, this was a learning lesson, all of it is, and I take it each time, and I value each of this moment because I'm never going to get it back.
It's got to be intimidating, though, concussion and going back in there. Is there any, like, trepidation about getting hit, or you just...
If you guys have ever followed any bit of my story, you know, I was an abuse victim as a child. A part of me choosing the career choice that I have was because something felt so natural to me. I'm not scared of getting hit. I'm scared of not making change that makes that hit worse every time. So again, I'm not scared of the punches. I'm not scared of what could happen. I'm scared of not being better for myself. So I have herniations from L2 to S1, and L5 is where your nerve runs right down your back. So I have an 18 millimeter herniation. So basically my disc is upside down, right, guys? And I don't know how much you know about that, but an 18 millimeter herniation is absolutely terrible. I mean, it could happen at any moment for me. And going into the Valentina fight that morning, I mean, like, I was walking stiff, and I just kept trying to tell myself, I'm like, oh, we'll be okay. But yeah, those kinds of things have happened. I mean, I suffer from it. I was 16 years old when I broke my back when I got in the car accident. It's something I'm always gonna have to keep dealing with my whole life. I thankfully moved to Las Vegas with the Performance Institute that they are on top of it. Like, Bo Sandoval and Heather, I love you guys. You're the greatest. They really did a great job.
So no fear for you right now of anything happening with it?
Oh my God, no, are you kidding me? It's always there. It's always there. I don't wear high heels very often, and if I do, I gotta make sure they're really nice shoes. It's always there. It could happen any moment. I could sneeze, and it'll instantly throw it back out. But again, I'm taking all the precautions I can properly do without surgery. Surgery was offered to me. I know, guys like Cain Velasquez have done it in DC. I'm opting out. I want to save that until it's an absolute must where I don't have to put the physical work in, because surgery, you can't go back from that. I'm a little tight right now. Those kicks, definitely I was sitting down when I came here because I could feel it tightening up a little bit, but it was because, those low kicks, it takes a lot. As much as I'm kicking her, she's putting her body weight back on me too, so it's a little stiff, but a little R&R would probably help and just get back to it.
How did Viviane feel in there compared to what you were expecting? How did the fight unfold?
She did great. She got me a couple times. She did good. She got me. But she did exactly what we knew she was gonna do. Is that she would gas out. I'd get a couple good hard shots from her, but then she would fall back on that. And I also think that constant low kick really stopped that pressure moving forward. I watched one of my old fights against a girl I fought against, Jennifer Scott, and she was kind of a similar fighter, and the whole fight I was just chopping her down, and that in my head right before the fight's like, if I chop her down, those punches aren't gonna hurt. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be as heavy, and as the rounds started to go on, I could feel them starting to come back, but she's a tough little thing, man. She was holding on real tight, So, I mean, we're fighters. We're the best in the world. We're here. Like, there's literally tiny little fractions of differences between each one of us, and that showcased why she's where she is and why she's one of the best, and also why I'm one of the best in the world. And I will have a title around my waist. I will.
How confident were you that you won tonight?
Listen, I'm always confident in my head, but I don't know what the judges see. So if we look at it like as a football game or like sports, really look at it as a sports, right? I knew I hit a lot more low kicks. I knew I connected with more punches, and I showcased more athletic ability as well as martial arts ability. And I think that's where we're going to start seeing the game change a little bit. It's just like you do in, again, I'll keep using the reference of football and basketball. Like, we look at assists. We look at these things. So we look at how many low kicks did you throw? How many did you hit? How many right hands did you throw? How many did you hit? That you start to actually see those numbers. And I mean, I could tell that there was a significant amount of kicks that I hit with her. So I felt good about it, but sometimes these judges, have their own mind and have their own way. I mean, we saw last week there were 2 draws on the card that were not draws. So
just one last one. Going back to the weight thing on the scale, there was a moment where I saw your coach go up to the scale afterwards. Did you guys see something different in the back?
Yes, it did. We were out, we agreed on 130 back there, right before we came to the scale. We agreed on 130 and that I would pay. And then we get out there and we're like, first they're like, I asked them, I said, well, should I be clothed? Should I hoop? And they were like, well, no, you should be fine. Then I was like, are you sure? So I was like, we'll just do it just in case. I can be 29, save myself 10%. And then we get on there, and it was 131, and Darren was like, whoa, no way. She was not. We just, with her clothes on in the back, she was 130. So, that didn't make sense. But it is what it is. I mean, look, I don't have a manager, so it looks like I paid her my 10% management fee right now. So.
How do you feel now, Jessica? How soon do you think you'll go again?
I want to take some time off. Last year was a big year for me. I left Strong Style to move to Las Vegas and join Extreme. We've done a lot this year. The back injury, the title fight, this win, there's just been a lot. I'd like to get back on the Columbus card in my hometown, back in Ohio, back where I live and, or where I lived for so many years. And, hopefully March will be a perfect timing and I can leave, go spend a really good holiday with my family.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.